Hi everybody, this is Caroline Sotheby and welcome to Up, Down, and Around Town. Well, for some of you people, you got your jackets on, it's a little bit cool, but some might be thinking of going to Florida. Hey, be thankful that we're still around, okay? Anyway, a lot of things have happened and a lot of things are going to happen. So let's go revert back to last week when the American Legion Auxiliary from 217 and 1136 had a blood drive. And that's where you saw Carrie? And
yeah, I managed to, when I stopped in, she wasn't as busy. It was probably not one of the peak times. So I did manage to get a quick interview in.
Okay. All right. Let's go to her.
Today's going quite well. It's actually been streamlined pretty good with the volunteers that we have from the Red Cross. This isn't our first time doing it here at this facility at the VFW. So we are pretty good at the flow of process of people coming in, of donors coming in. They are all pre-scheduled. They're all showing up on time. They do have the Rapid Pass that helps the Red Cross through the blood donation process to get them in and out and get through the questions quicker. And here we are. So we did have a few gaps in the schedule, more so than normal. Could be the weather, could be anything, vacations, kids are back in school. But we do have our regular donors that come in, and we are always available for walk-ins. So next blood drive, if you didn't make it to this one, you can always come out via walk-in or follow our link on the VFW Facebook page or the American Legion Auxiliary Facebook page, both of one dot.
And they're very busy. Most of the time they got something going on. If you've never been a member of it, you can always go and find out if you can join, especially if you were a veteran or your relative was a veteran many years ago. One other thing to think ahead, Veterans Memorial Day is coming up. It's another week and a half. They are going to have a ceremony on that Wednesday at 6 o'clock, and the monument had moved. If you hadn't been in touch with us in the past 2 months, it's moved from the river's edge to the Superior between Biddle and Van Alstyne. So that's something to look forward to. Okay, for something that we just picked up yesterday, The Wind It Warrior is out. And for somebody that didn't get it, you can get them at the City Hall Library. I mean, not library. Yeah, of course, the library
you can get
is
them
now
pretty much anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Basically. But
Yeah.
if they want you, we know it's downstairs.
Yeah.
And a lot has been put in here for some people that do not know the rules and regulations for Halloween, which is 5:30 to 7:30 this coming Saturday. All that is in there. And you also got some other information, right? What's in the Warrior?
Well, Larry Caruso is a photographer here downriver, an excellent photographer.
Yeah.
He went out and took pictures of houses in Wyandotte. Mm-hmm. I love the way residents in Wyandotte will decorate their houses, even for Halloween.
Oh,
Some
yeah.
of them in my neighborhood are really outstanding. They did
Really?
a really
Yeah.
good job. So that was really cool. Also, we've got some B-roll that we can go to. There is a place on 4th and Vinewood.
Yeah.
4th and Vinewood. They're really nice people that live there. I stopped and was talking to the guy before, and it used to be like a store or something, but
Hardware
now it's
store.
a private residence.
Uh-huh.
And they've really got it looking nice. There it is right there. They've really got it looking nice for Halloween. And I drive by there on my way home every day and look at it. And it's really cool what they've done. Now this is the window at Nana's. And you know a little bit more about this than I do, don't you?
Well, one of the waitresses' niece, actually, who's 12 years old, asked if she could do the painting. And of course, you got to notice this, even through this pandemic, they were given an award just about a month ago. So they made an effort to keep the business going, and people were able to come in, play it safe. He's got everything plastic lined, and of course, like your 6-foot distancing in some of the areas. So we got to give the new owner, Mario, a lot of credit. He has taken the business from Steve, but he's still keeping up with traditional meals and improving sometimes along the way. So that's one good thing about him. So that gives you an insight of how some of the businesses are really trying to say, hey, come on, let's celebrate the season. And I'm sure they'll have something there for Christmas too. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sure, yeah. Yep.
But
Now-
one thing, you actually did see something in Wind-Up Warrior, what I was surprised and about yours.
The Wind-Up Warrior is having not a contest. If you want a picture of your pet, your cat, your dog, whatever your pet is, if you want the picture to be published, you send in the picture with your name and the city that you live, and they'll publish the picture of your pet, which I
Yeah.
think is really a cute idea. Now, also, our JCs here in Wyandotte are having a pet contest where you can vote for, I think it's the cutest pet, and again, it's any type of pet. It's not just a dog. It could be a dog, a cat, an iguana, whatever you got. We got caught up with Joel Atkins, and we got some more information about that the JC's pet contest.
So the Wyandotte JCs decided to do a Halloween pet contest this fall in lieu of the haunted house. The pet contest will function largely like the Beautiful Baby contest does. That's held traditionally at the Wyandotte Street Art Fair in July. So people who are interested in registering their pets can go to wyandottejcs.org, and on there is a Google form that can be filled out. There is a nominal entry fee, and from there, once they're registered, they can participate in the voting. And just like the Beautiful Baby contest, 1 penny equals 1 vote. $1 equals 100 votes. Registration will actually be open throughout the contest, and voting will end on October 28th. You can dress your pet up. You don't have to. We're looking for spooky and or cute pets. And it's not limited to just cats or dogs or your typical pets. It could be a tarantula, it could be an iguana, a pig, a parrot. Any fuzzy or furry animal you got is allowed to enter this contest.
Okay, as you noticed, voting ends October 28th. So if you're interested, contact them, find out how you can put your pet in and get voting going with your friends and relatives, just like they did with the boys and girls, the little ones, during the art fair. Remember that? When you went down the street and you saw them and you put your vote in, cast a dollar. That sort of helps them out since they have not had a chance to get the haunted house this season. And slow but sure, it's a different interest, especially when it comes to different animals, because there are some that have gerbils and all this other stuff in there. I just don't like snakes, but I know somebody that used to have them, and they'd be going down our street on 15th until the police finally said, take care of the animal and that. But that's something different. You never know who's going to have what pet, all right? Another thing, I know we're trying to rush, but it so happens that our Mayor Pro Tem, Rob DeSena, could not come on, but I asked him if he could clarify maybe an ordinance that was discussed at the October 12th council meeting, plus some other information. So we can go to that right now and find out what Mayor Pro Tem had to say.
I'd like to start out by talking about an item that was on the council meeting October 12th on the agenda. It's the sale and redevelopment of the former Wyandotte City Hall. The former City Hall building, located at 3131 Bill Avenue, has been vacant since 2012-13. Since then, the city has been actively marketing and promoting the entire site, including the parking lot just south of the building, to dozens of developers, investment firms, real estate brokerages, and various entities using multiple resources. In 2014, the city published a request for proposals for the redevelopment of the site. MJC Companies was awarded as the developer on the site, and after several years of planning and feasibility studies, they abandoned their pursuits of the project, citing challenges regarding market economics and project financing. In November 2016, the former City Hall was voted the best real deal at Urban Land Institute's annual real estate forum at the University of Michigan's Ross School of Business by a large crowd of prominent leaders in Southeast Michigan real estate industry. From August 31st, 2017 to November 1st, 2017, the city published the request for proposals for the redevelopment of the site. The city solicited dozens of developers, construction companies, and investment firms from throughout Southeast Michigan and the Great Lakes region to investigate and to redevelop the site. Property specifications and the bid packets were sent to dozens of entities. 2 development proposals were submitted to the city. On April 16, 2018, the city awarded the former City Hall redevelopment to Zachary and Associates, who partnered with Rainey Hamilton of Hamilton Anderson Associates. And after 15 months of planning and feasibility studies, they abandoned their pursuits of the project, citing challenges regarding market economics, on-site parking, and project financing. In May of 2019, the property was listed for sale on the LoopNet commercial real estate website. The city has received over 50 inquiries, none of whom submitted any of the required documentations, all of whom were bargain hunters proposing undesirable projects within our central business district, such as storage facilities, dollar store, thrifts, secondhand stores, etc. On February 24th, 2020, the City Council approved the specifications, the qualifications for the sale of industrial, commercial, multifamily properties, which include the former City Hall site. Only one developer has submitted a letter of interest to purchase and redevelop the site in accordance with the city's desires, which include a mid-rise, mixed-use retail and residential development. Ron Thomas of Rise Above Ventures is proposing to purchase and redevelop the old City Hall building, as well as the parking lot, in order to construct a small hotel and multifamily residential development with no less than 30 residential units. Several site visits and interviews were hosted with Rise Above Ventures. Preliminary negotiations between the city attorney, city administrator, DPA director, and Rise Above Ventures have resulted in the drafting of a right of entry and access agreement and in a detailed list of developer responsibilities. Together, these mutually agreeable documents allow for Rise Above Ventures to conduct the necessary research and due diligence while the city maintains control of the property until a comprehensive development and purchase agreement can be executed. This action is consistent with the goals and objectives identified in the City of Minot strategic plan that identifies a commitment to 1, downtown revitalization and economic development strategy that emphasizes commercial expansion in the area. 2, fostering the revitalization and preservation of older areas of the city, as well as developing and redeveloping new areas. Mr. Thomas was proposing as a local owned and operated hotel on the first and maybe second floor of the existing structure, together with a multi-family residential redevelopment throughout the rest of the property and vacant land. Additionally, the project may contain a retail component, and a final determination will be made on this point during the planning phase. The number of residential units that will be constructed will be the maximum amount he is able to configure on the property without building a parking structure. The further planning is needed to provide an exact residential unit total. However, for the purpose of this offer, Mr. Thomas is willing to commit to not less than 30 residential units. He would maintain the building and pay the DTE bills, and the city would cover Wyandotte Municipal Service billings until the option is executed and the property is deeded over. His intent is to begin planning the project now and begin construction in mid-2021, just after the Maple Professional Building, which is a project he's in the process of doing right now. That's at 100 Maple, it's in the corner of Maple and First, is complete. He anticipates the full redevelopment of this site to take about 3 years once construction begins and be completed in 2 phases. Phase 1 would be a redevelopment of the existing building into a hotel and some residential units. Phase 2 would be construction of new multi-story residential units and potential retail in what is now the vacant lot. I personally feel really excited about this proposal because Mr. Thomas has already made a substantial commitment to downtown with 2 other projects that he has completed. One is on First and Oak Street on the southeast corner, and the other is the project he is currently in the process of completing at 100 Maple that I mentioned earlier. That's at First and Maple, the old bank building, which will house office, condominiums, apartments, and a restaurant. So while I'm talking about downtown, I would like to just quickly mention that the city is in the early stages of addressing the condition of the alleys in the downtown area. Most of the alleys are in terrible condition and are in great need of much needed changes and upgrades. Next, I want to mention about ordinances. The city just passed an ordinance that regarding bird feeders. If a resident wants to place a bird feeder or bird feeders on their property, they will be required to place said bird feeders a minimum of 10 feet from the property line. What happens is not all the bird feed that is put out for the birds get consumed by the birds, leaving the food on the ground for mice, rats, and other rodents to consume. We have had cases where residents will place their bird feeders on the property line or hang it over their side of their house right next to the neighbor's property line, attracting mice, rats, and other rodents to their next door neighbor's yard. So by doing this, hopefully, if they're attracting the mice, rats, and rodents, it's in their own yard. With the fall season upon us, the leaf schedule is posted on the city cable, and the city's website. And I want to mention Wyandotte is going to be having Halloween trick-or-treating, and the hours are 5:30 to 7:30 on October 31st. To help keep candy passers and candy collectors safe, the city offers these tips. For the homeowners, designate one person to hand out candy. Consider handing out individuals treat bags. Position a distribution table yourself and trick-or-treaters. Between yourself, trick-or-treaters. Do not hand out candy if you do not feel well or have been exposed to an individual who tested positive for the COVID-19. Social distance and wear a mask. For the trick-or-treaters, trick-or-treat with people you live with. Avoid gathering in large groups. Wear a face mask covering both mouth and nose. A Halloween mask is not a substitute for a cloth mask. Social distance. Do not congregate on porches or sidewalks. And use hand sanitizers. Mm-hmm. Just be safe like that and have a nice Halloween.
And we thank Mayor Pro Tem Robert DeSena for at least giving us our information and give us an idea of some of the ordinances that were passed on the first part of the month. It was funny, though, if you haven't had a chance to look at the council meeting replays, there was something that might need attention by you, me, or anybody else, because there have been people that have been being penalized because they are putting out their trash cans too early on the day before the pickup. So some people have been given citations, and we're kind of perturbed, which can be understandable, and they did voice their opinion at the last council meeting of this week. So I understand you are not supposed to be putting your trash cans out before 6 o'clock on the previous day of pickup, and make sure it's taken in at a sensible time on the day of the pickup. But there were people that said they work differently and hours are, so I don't know exactly what's going to come of it, but that's something to think about on another show. All right. We had been there to the farmer's market practically the whole time. Well, sporadic, let's put it that way, because we'd go there and interview people, and we'd talk, we'd go back and make sure that there's still, the same ones are still there and so on.
Yeah, this Thursday's the last one.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that's pretty sad. I'm pretty sad to see that go, because there was always a story down there at the farmer's market.
Yeah.
You know, we got so many stories out of that place, it wasn't even funny, you know. And the people, we met Cornelius, the blueberry guy.
Yeah.
We had the stuffed cabbage from Biddle Hall, you know, and then also the gals over there, Angie and at home.
Vintage Market.
Vintage Market.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was going to sort of sad to see that go.
What really interests me this past season was Ida, the farm that came from Ida, and they had not only regular eggs, but duck eggs.
The duck egg lady.
I
Yeah.
never saw that before.
The
So
duck egg
anyway,
lady.
that's coming to the end of the season, but Angie from the Vintage Market had asked the council to approve something for November 7th. She couldn't make it on the show, but she said that is their Christmas open house, and she mentioned something about vendors. So I said, well, depending on how many vendors you have, are you going to have it inside and outside, similar to the farmer's market?
Yeah.
And she says, possibly. So that's coming up, though. November 7th is already next week. So,
That would be a week from Thursday.
yeah.
Or no, a week from Friday, I think.
Well, anyway, I know she said November 7th, and she got approval to have the special event, what she calls special event. So maybe next week we'll find out more and give the last minute details on it. So that's something else that's already coming. And one thing too, we did see something in the Wind-Up Warrior that you said you saw an ad about a month ago. I never did, but looking at the thing,
Oh, Cheryl, yeah.
yeah, this
Yeah.
one, Cheryl Zemke, what was the old Rialto Theater building. She said she wanted that many years ago for her business and couldn't afford it. And all of a sudden, the person that owns it calls her and says, "Are you interested? We can split the building." So we haven't been there. I haven't had a chance to talk to her, but she was on our show. She was also with the DAC. She does fashion shows.
Or the DCA.
DCA.
I lived in California for so long. I call it desert. And oh, no, I mean Downriver Community for
That's
the
where I
Arts,
got it
yeah.
from then. Okay,
Yeah.
you're the one. So anyway, this is another business that has finally come into town with this pandemic situation. It's remarkable. Somebody wants to take the challenge and come here. So you got to go down. I forgot the address now. But anyway, it's on the first block between Oak and Elm. Yeah. And near the Total Food place, Total
Oh,
Health place.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So
I should go down there with a camera and see if I can interview her, and maybe she'll give me a tour of the place.
yeah. See something else for you to do
Ah,
in your spare time.
yeah.
I mean, we kid, but we're in the studio. But basically, all the stuff we're putting in today's basically what we do when we go out on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, on the road. What about the latest at the post office?
Wow, you can see a lot of changes going on at the post office. I went and got some video from yesterday. Now I couldn't get, you see that big semi right there in the way. That's the shot that I wanted, but I couldn't get it. So I had to settle for this. And then also there's another shot from behind. You can see what they're doing. It looks like in the middle, to the left there, they're building the tower for the elevators and all the plumbing and stuff like that. And right now I think it's up to the 2nd floor, but that's going to go up, I think, 5 or 6 floors, Joe Gruber was telling us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can see that the shaft for the elevators and stuff, they're starting to go up with that.
So at least gives you an idea at home what it looks like if you haven't had a chance to come downtown and look for yourself. The Michigan Legacy is doing pretty well too. They're keeping up with their construction, especially in the building now, it looks like. So
They're getting ready to put the outside, whatever they're going to put on the outside, they're whether it be brick, whatever, siding, whatever, they're getting ready. They've got the brackets in place.
okay.
And they're getting ready to put that on, and also something over the entryway is elevated. So
But the big improvement right now is what was the parking lot at the post office, and that's where they're used to the elevator shaft. So that we'll keep an eye on that, see how high do they go. Okay, and for some of you people that didn't know, Wyandotte football team actually won their last game, a close game, 30-29 in the last couple seconds, and they are playing Lincoln Park this Friday. If they beat them, they will have a return home game on the following Friday. And so right now, give our luck to them. They had a couple of close weeks when they were in quarantine. As a matter of fact, I was watching Channel 50 yesterday. Some of the Woodhaven kids are now being quarantined. There was a teacher and a couple of students that got the COVID, and 50 of them are being on the sidelines, whether they're just from school. It didn't say students to participating in sports. It just said that. So good luck, and like everything else, we got to keep safe, wash your hands, keep the mask on, and watch where you're going, because Wyandottes been having too many entrances into the hospital. When you put 7 one day and 9 another day, that's increasing, and it's being more serious
when
than
did
it
that
was.
happen? Was that just recently?
Yeah, that was the last 4 days. So, yeah. So anyway, thanks for coming with me on this, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Up, Down, and Around Town. Bye now.